Indy Mogul.
It's Christmas time, and no holiday has inspired Hollywood quite like this one. Whether it's a shopping break at the mall or watching a DVD in front of the Christmas tree, holiday movies are a special part of the season. So as you try to decide which Christmas movie to watch tonight or put in a loved one's stocking, to help you out, here's Beyond the Trailer's Top 10 list of Christmas movies. I know, this movie has some serious detractors, but it just made it onto this list because How the Grinch Stole Christmas is the second biggest grossing Christmas movie of all time. The first one is a little higher up on this list. Yes, back in 2000, Jim Carrey's career was still going places, and his performance as the Grinch is classic Carrey. In fact, the studio had tested the Grinch makeup on several actors to see if it was worth paying for a big star, only to find that even under all that latex and fur, Carrey shone through. And perhaps now that a decade has passed, some of you might find yourself chuckling at Carrey's witty one-liners. Also, fun fact, the actress playing Cindy Lou Who is none other than Taylor Momsen, who grew up to be the Grinch of the CW's Gossip Girl. Another movie you might want to give a second chance to is Fred Claus. After all, the movie is about second chances, as Santa's brother Fred has been having a hard time dealing with his brother's success. While much is often made of not getting on Santa's naughty list, little attention is ever paid to what happens if you do. Fred Claus explores just that, as well as what makes children naughty in the first place. Plus, this movie is Vince Vaughn at his best, which is no surprise as he produced the movie as well. So come on, take Fred Claus off your naughty list. By no means a traditional Christmas story, Tim Burton and Henry Selick's The Nightmare Before Christmas has become a cult hit over the years. When it was originally released in 1993, it made a critical and creative splash, but not a box office splash. However, thanks to home video rentals, it gained momentum, which caused Disney to take a second look at this unique property. In 2001, Disney launched the very successful Nightmare Before Christmas transformation of the Haunted Mansion attraction to bridge the Halloween and Christmas seasons, which still runs today. The film has also been converted to 3D and has been re-released in a few theaters every year for the holidays since 2006. Looks like Jack Skellington really did become a part of Christmas. TBS has run a 24-hour marathon of this movie every Christmas Eve for the past 5 years, with tens of millions of people tuning in to watch. And for those of you who haven't seen it and wonder what that leg lamp is every year, it's from this movie. The movie's young star, Peter Billingsley, grew up to work behind the camera in Hollywood, recently directing Vince Vaughn in Couples Retreat. And his latest project is producing a musical version of A Christmas Story, which just debuted in Seattle this year, and that he hopes to eventually bring to other cities. One of the things in the show? A leg lamp kick line. Before he was Buzz Lightyear, Tim Allen was Santa Claus. In fact, The Santa Claus was Allen's first movie as he tried to transition from the small screen to the silver screen. The film was a huge hit, part of a 1-2 punch along with Toy Story the very next year that launched Allen's movie career and solidified his relationship with Disney. 2 sequels were made, but you just can't beat the original, A Santa Claus Origin Story. There are practically as many adaptations of A Christmas Carol as there are snowflakes, but the quintessential one is the 1951 version starring Alistair Sim as Ebenezer Scrooge. Charles Dickens' classic novella was originally published back in 1843, which means the story has lasted over 160 years. And sadly, this tale of cold-hearted greed versus kindness to one's fellow man is still relevant today. This film was made in Great Britain, the home of Charles Dickens, and it's the kind of material they know how to knock out of the park, and do. This 1947 film was an instant hit, pretty surprising for a holiday film released in the middle of summer. Yes, feeling that more people went to the movies in the summer than the winter, the studio actually hid the fact it was a Christmas movie in the advertising. But audiences were won over anyway, as was Hollywood, with the film winning the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay and Best Supporting Actor, and was even nominated for Best Picture. It also made Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in Santaland famous around the world, for which Macy's is very grateful. In fact, when you go to work as an elf, they make you watch it. I should know, as I was an elf in Macy's Santaland myself. Macaulay Culkin hasn't worked in years, yet most people still know who he is. That's because he's a Christmas tradition in most households, with families cheering him on as, left home alone, he defends his house from two bumbling burglars. John Hughes is famous for many films, but Home Alone is his most successful and perhaps most enduring. It also launched the career of Chris Columbus, a screenwriter who previously worked for Steven Spielberg, who made his directorial debut with this movie. In fact, it was Home Alone that helped get Columbus hired to direct Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone a decade later. And the highest grossing Christmas movie of all time? It's this one. Yes, John Hughes has contributed a lot to the Christmas movie genre, and while he depicted an abnormal holiday experience with Home Alone, with National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, he managed to capture the typical holiday experience. Everyone can relate to the Griswolds' Christmas, the good times, and hilariously, the bad ones too. Its theme song, sung by Mavis Staples, is also a holiday favorite, and you'll get a kick out of seeing a pre-Seinfeld Julia Louis-Dreyfus playing one of the Griswolds' yuppie neighbors. Made in 1946, Frank Capra's unflinching look at the sacrifices we must make for our family is arguably the American counterpart to the very British A Christmas Carol, and the two films are the most recognizable Christmas movies. And at a time of year that can sometimes be trying, especially when times are tough, It's a Wonderful Life reminds us that the best Christmas gifts aren't underneath the tree, but standing next to it. I hope you've enjoyed this top 10 list and get the chance to watch some of these movies during the holiday season. Merry Christmas.